A very good evening to Dr. Absadu and my fellow friends. So today my team, me, Huyin, Bridget and Megan, we are going to present a theme called Working from Home. So this is the agenda of our presentation today. So first of all, I'll be talking about the introductions of the video clip that we have actually chosen, which is the Apple. And the theme of the presentation is mainly focusing on working from home and consequences, impacts, and effects of COVID-19 that has actually happen surrounding us. And then Megan will be explaining about the example translate into a workplace context during the COVID-19 pandemic. Then Bridget will bring up the issues that managers have to address, like how they are going to handle these kind of things, and comes up with the recommendations. And we will conclude our presentation today. So, yeah, first of all, the video clip that we've actually chosen is the Apple. So this team of people, they actually started to work from home since the COVID-19 pandemic hit them. So I've screenshotted some of the parts of the video clips just to mention about what have actually happening during their time to work from home. So first of all, you can see that from the first picture is about the communications. When they're actually having a discussion online, they're kind of like having a overlapping communications, like every one of them is talking about their ideas. So we can see the subtitles there stating Brian and Dev is speaking. So this is what we actually happening when we are having online discussions, like things get overlapping and we can't really understand or listen clearly from our colleagues or our group mates. And secondly is the lack of facilities. As you can see that Dev said that he don't have a scanner, which actually his supervisor is asking him to actually scan a piece of notes for them, but then he just give you a reason like he don't have a scanner and he can't do anything about it. And number two is Brian. So actually the supervisor has asked them to come up with an idea, and she did give them a deadline to propose the idea, but then Brian just giving excuses like he thought that it was Tuesday and actually it's already Monday. So he's trying to find out an excuses to actually excuse himself to present about his idea. And lastly is one of the very common issue that especially for those parents, since they have the parenting about the children, and you can see that Dev is saying that he has kids all week like to be together with him all the way when he's working from home, that he has to take good care of his child. And yep, and this is just part of the video clips that I'm going into this. So basically this is what's happening from the Apple team that when they are working from home. So the theme of the presentation, what we are focusing on today is working from home. So based on the surveys, actually only a quarter of the employees that are actually emotionally ready for them to actually return back to the workstation, but another quarter is very reluctant to return to their workplace, specifically because of the concerns about contracting COVID-19. Like some of the employees, they might concerned about a health problem, and some of them might be just very concerned about what if they're back towards their workstation, they can perform really well compared to what they've done during this pandemic, then they are allowed to work from home. And actually innovation is not a planned activity. It prefers to gather everyone in a team and conduct face-to-face sessions, which this means actually most of the employers suggested that employees have to go back to their workstation once the pandemic is under control, because they think that a face-to-face communications is always a better way for them to have a brainstorming session to perform their job. So employees might not be keen to implement work from home for a prolonged period. So next I'll be talking about the consequences, impacts, and effects of COVID-19. So for consequences, for example, isolations of employees. This might be happen due to the employees who they have been working from home, so they don't have a sense of belonging to the company or even to their teammates or whoever working together with them, since they can just stay at home and do the job that they have to do. So they don't really get in touch with the others. They just stick to their own and working just within their own comfort zone. So they just have a sense of isolation to themselves. And secondly is the difficulty in monitoring job performance. This is mainly for those managers or the supervisors that they can't really keep it on track on their employees, on, like, for example, what they have done for their job, since they don't really can concentrate on what their employees have done. So they might be just let it go and just don't bother about it and just let their employees to do whatever they can, and this might influence the job performance as well. And home distractions is what, like I've mentioned just now previously in the Apple video clip. So for example, parenting children, or you have to do your chores, or any noises, pollutions that, or any kind of distractions that might happen when you're working from home. All this might affecting your job performance. And lastly is the staff development. Since you're working from home, so some of the employees, they might think that it's actually enough for me to just like do my work at home, and I don't really have to achieve some long-term goals to just like um enhance my skill or knowledge, whatever, and all that. So they might just have a very little sense of progressing themselves. So it's kind of like consequences to those employees who are working from home. So what are the impacts that actually happen to this? First of all, is the slowing of manufacturing, since they have, for example, the difficulty in monitoring the job performance of the employees. So this might be affecting the process of the manufacturing of goods and services. Like the second point, disrupt supply chains as well to the goods and services. All these have a connections. So once the performance of the employees is affected, they actually affected to the companies itself as well. And also the losses of national and international business due to this COVID-19 pandemic. I believe that most of the companies, they can't really sorted out their external parties or those potential stakeholders to actually support their business, since they have been stopping to, like for example, to take a flight to reach to their parties and try to have a business meetings or all that, which they can't really reach to the limit that they can do for it. And all these impacts has actually comes to the end with a poor cash flow, and I believe that most of the companies are actually facing this problem. So the effects is, of course, loss of revenues, inability to focus for the employees actually when they are working from home, since they have different kinds of distractions, and lack of teamwork. This is definitely one of the point that, since you're working from home and you do not meet your teammates regularly, like brainstorming session or whatever, or you can just even conduct an online meeting, online session, but you don't really get in touch with your team members and all that, since started to working from home, so you don't have a sense of belonging to the company or to your team. So it might be leading to a lack of teamwork, and also the low motivations as well, since employees might just feeling lazy or don't really have the motivation to perform what they can actually do better than what they have now, but they just prefer to do their work within a comfort zone, and that's all for them to just finish, and that's call a day for them. Yep. So we can see that the consequences, impacts, and effects that had actually happenings around us nowadays due to this pandemic. So next, I'll pass to Megan to continue her part, and we will go deep into our topic again. Thank you.
Thank you, Huyin. So now I'll be taking over and we'll be talking about the workplace context examples. So the first one will be the recalibration of working arrangements. Due to the pandemic, companies have had to resort to new working arrangements. So remote working is important to minimize costs that might affect the physical safety and health of their employees. However, remote working has one downside as well. They often impede organizations from creating and solidifying their company culture. A company culture is often fostered through team building activities and division or company-wide meetings. So an engaged workforce and a clear culture in place often help companies attract top talents. But the fact of the matter is that the recalibration of working arrangements like remote working or hybrid working arrangement is still rather new and is largely implemented because of the pandemic. Companies and employees are still trying to find solutions on how to motivate themselves and have high productivity levels without affecting their mental health. Another barrier that stems from the recalibration of working arrangement would be that some managers are still slow to adapt to new situations, which affects communication between managers and employees. Thus, it is important that managers are able to keep up with this new volatile situation now and in the future. Moving on, it will be the lack of collaborative brainstorming. So, a creative work life requires social relationships and spontaneous interactions. Employees are able to bounce off ideas with one another in their everyday chats, whether that be conversations over lunch, a 5-minute chat in the pantry, or even a proper brainstorming session with one another in a room full of other creative people. Especially working from a home office, where we tend to lead a more sedentary lifestyle, it curtails employees' creativity now. Modern offices are often designed to fill social interactions that leads to more activity and creativity among the employees. But the issues with employees working remotely or in a hybrid workspace is that they may feel a sense of solitude. Research has shown that employees who get to work with close friends cultivated at their workspace tend to be more committed to the project as a whole and gave more positive encouragement and were more constructive and honest in their feedback.
The sudden hit of COVID-19 has left organizations with uncertainty, volatility, complexity, and ambiguity due to its widespread and constant mutation. During the existing uncertain period of COVID-19, it is crucial for managers to manage human behaviors in the organizations to ensure stable organizational operations, maintain survival and welfare, and to achieve organizational common goals. Various choices and strategies can be taken and implemented by managers during this period to manage individual behaviors among the employees. The three choices that we'll look into today are flexibility, digitalized work process, and setting goal or key performance indicators. One of the choices that can be taken by managers during this existing uncertain period is flexibility. Employees should be given more flexibility in work during this uncertain period, especially when working from home. This is because each employee might face different challenges in work when working from home. Flexibility will allow them to meet their occupational, family, personal, and community needs. For example, depending on job nature, employees can be given flexibility in working time instead of observing the usual office hours from 8 to 5. Employees might need to take break in between work to prepare lunch for the family, or they might need to attend to their kids. So, flexibility in working time can allow them to complete their work at a more comfortable pace. This can motivate employees in work and increase their job satisfaction, which eventually increase their efficiency and productivity. Another strategy that managers can take during this period is digitalized work process. Lockdown due to COVID-19 has forced organizations to adopt work from home to ensure business continuity. Hence, companies should look into providing necessary tools for employees to work from home. For example, access to virtual meeting service providers such as MS Teams, Zooms, and Cisco. In addition,
Training should also be provided to ensure employees are well equipped with the knowledge and skills to work from home. By receiving proper training, employees are expected to work more efficiently and productively when working from home during the pandemic time. This in return can increase employee satisfaction as they will face lesser issues due to incompetency. To ensure business processes are not disrupted during work from home, digital alternative of business documents such as e-invoice, e-receipt, e-agreements, and so on, including e-approvals with digital signature should be implemented. This can reduce and prevent unnecessary delays in the business process. Another choice that the managers can make during this time is to set goals or key performance indicators for the employees. This is because employees might feel stranded and lose motivation when working from home during uncertain periods. Clear objective and timeline to achieve this objective should be provided to the employees to keep them motivated in work. However, the contribution of the employees should be emphasized more rather than the performance. This is because employees' overall performance is expected to decline due to the changes that arise from the current uncertain situations. The employees' efforts should be recognized and rewarded to keep them motivated. Now we'll move on to the recommendations on how we can handle similar situations in the future. First, crisis communication should be improved and focused on, which involves unequivocal and frequent communications with the employees about the current state of the business. During uncertain times, morals are low and jobs get threatened as the economy suffers. During uncertain periods such as the COVID-19 pandemic, employees are learning to deal with complexity and adapt to new reality of work, such as working from home. Hence, emotional and interpersonal support is very much needed during this time. Team leaders should engage and listen to their members regularly and ensure the well-being of those impacted by the pandemic. By engaging with the members, team leader would be able to better understand the challenges that they are facing at work and offer their assistance to help the member overcome these challenges. A survey conducted by Bogoski-Hopper showed the top 6 responses declared during the current pandemic, which include leaders need to communicate with honesty and transparency, staying calm and leading by example, helping employees stay safe and healthy, being factual, checking in and caring, and also being clear and direct. In addition, teamwork should also be enforced and improved in similar situations in the future. Teamwork is important to the organization as it enables the team members to have higher level of emotional security, self-confidence, and the ability to plan and decide with others, which eventually enables the members to work efficiently and effectively. As team members are all isolated at their own home offices, team spirit is bound to be weaker and distant. It is important to get the team to be comfortable with virtual socializing so that they feel attached and connected to the team and organization. During working from home period, team building activities can be replicated virtually to establish interactions in the team. For example, the team can organize weekly virtual lunch session or virtual yoga sessions to get everyone involved.
Thank you, Bridget. So I'll be concluding the entire presentation. As you can see, working from home is inevitable to keep the whole COVID-19 pandemic situation under control, and there are consequences to that. The first one would be the recalibration of work arrangement. And this has impacted managers to adopt hybrid work model. In effect, you can see it in employees' job satisfaction. The second consequence would be the lack of collaborative, creative brainstorming. And this has impacted employees' attitudes and work performance. And this can be seen to affect companies' profile financially or resource-wise. So as managers, we do have the attitudes and methods that we can use to address when managing individual behaviors, especially during this volatile period like COVID-19. The first attitude you can bring is flexibility. And besides that, we can also digitalize work processes and to set achievable goals or key performance indicators. In the future, with situations like this, one can manage it through improving crisis communication and also fostering teamwork among employees. So that would be the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.